Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Instructor Leadership Excellence Academy. I am really happy to see you all. We're going to start in just a couple of minutes. I'd love for you to turn on your cameras so we can make sure they work, because we're definitely going to be using them today if you have that ability. Hi, Christopher. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Mr. Lopez. How are you guys?
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Heidi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Randall.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Nice to see you. Welcome. We're going to get started in just a minute or two. While we're waiting, hi, Nuri. Is it Nuri? Did I say that right? Okay, cool. While we're waiting, if you guys want to go ahead and use the chat to tell us about yourself. We'd love to hear your name, your agency, your job title, and tell us what you like to do when you're not at work. This is a chance for us to begin to get to know one another. We're a small cohort, and we're going to be spending a lot of time together, and it'd be great to hear a little bit more about who you are. Hi, Rocio, nice to see you. And Sarah, I see Sarah logging in again. There may be some audio issues. And is it Suze or Tracy? I want to make sure that I get the names right.
Hi, my name is C, and I go by Tracy.
C, nice to meet you, Tracy. Thanks for joining the webinar today and the Academy.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for organizing this.
All right, I think we're going to get started. So go ahead and share in the chat your name, agency, your job title, and something you like to do when you're not at work. Would love to hear from you. Beth likes to cook. Thanks, Beth. Oh, Christopher's working on his second master's in industrial engineering. Amazing. So you don't, that's what you do when you're not at work, Christopher, is you do other work.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. That's amazing. Oh, I love to see what folks do. Elizabeth says she likes to paint. That's awesome. Oh, congratulations, Tracy. Tracy had a baby, so she's doing that. That is work too. Nuri likes to travel and cook. Oscar is a coach of a women's soccer team. That's awesome. I love that. And Deb likes to hang out with her dog and cook and garden. I'm also a big dog mom, so love to hear about that. And Heidi has 4 pit bulls. Awesome. Love it. We're going to have to share pictures. Sarah's writing a book. Amazing. I can't believe all the amazing things you all are doing in your free time. So welcome to the Instructor Leadership Excellence Academy. Thanks for sharing. We're going to go ahead and just give a quick tech orientation. I'm going to introduce my colleague, Hannah Schlosser, to help us just with some reminders on Zoom.
Hi, everyone. I'm sure we're all really familiar with Zoom, so I'm going to go through this very quickly. I just want to remind you that your taskbar is usually down at the bottom of your window, although you can move it around, so it might be at the top. The key buttons that you need to be aware of are the mute and unmute for the microphone. We invite you to turn your video on whenever you're able to, especially in breakout rooms, but we love to see your faces. Please make sure to hover your mouse over your name in the participants tab to change it so that we have your first name and your last name today for when we take attendance. You're already using the chat, so I can see that you can access that. We'll continue to use that today. And then feel free to use the reactions today throughout the webinar as appropriate as well. We are going to be using the annotate tool. And so we're going to do a quick practice here. From your drop-down menu, which again, it might be at the top of your screen and it might be at the bottom of your screen, you're looking for the pencil that says annotate. Go ahead and click on that, and you should get a couple of options. If you choose the stamp option, you can choose a check mark, a heart, an X, and then we're going to go ahead and have you test it out on the screen right now and put your stamp so we can make sure that it's working for everybody. I can see some stamps coming in. Wonderful. All right, we will be using that later today. So make sure that I'm going to clear all our drawings and we will come back to annotate later today. I'm going to pass it back to Amy.
Thanks, Hannah. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Sorry, I know I need to put it in slideshow mode. Awesome. All right. We're excited to be here with the Instructor Leadership Excellence Academy, and I want to welcome Beth Ponder, who directs this project from Train PD TCall, to give you all a welcome.
Thank you, Amy. Yes, welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here. We are super excited about working with you over the course of the rest of this program year on the Instructor Leadership Excellence Academy. Lori Slayton with the Texas Workforce Commission AEL office is one that has been so supportive of this, but she was not able to be here today. She had a family obligation. So I send you greetings from TWC, who's been so supportive of this project, and myself and my team, including Olga Escamilla and Robin Booth with Region 6. Those make up our team, as well as support from Deborah Hargrove, who is the managing director here at TCall. So we're super excited for all of the content that you're going to get and the projects you're going to be working on, and we're here to support you. So thank you, Amy.
Thanks so much, Beth, and a big thank you to the TWC and TCall team. The Leadership Excellence Academies are really the result of tremendous amount of effort and hard work and good thinking on the part of the whole team that's here today. And it's a real honor and privilege for Hannah and I to be here as the facilitators of your Leadership Academy. So I'm Amy Dalsimer. I'm a senior technical assistance consultant at AIR. And just so you know a little bit about me, I've been working in adult education for over 30 years. I started as a classroom teacher. I taught ESL both here in the States and also abroad, as well as what we used to call GED and college prep and college transition courses. And then over the course of my career in adult ed, I assumed various different positions of leadership, eventually becoming the executive director of a very large adult education and pre-college program at LaGuardia Community College in New York City, which is part of the City University of New York system. And then about 3 years ago, I pivoted and joined AIR as a technical assistance consultant. And in that role, I'm really fortunate and honored to lead technical assistance on federal, state, and private sort of foundation initiatives and projects, all in adult ed. My expertise is really in adult ed leadership, developing career pathway programs, building integrated education and training models, and contextualized and sector-focused literacy. And this is my third year leading the Texas Leadership Academies, and it's really my favorite project, and I'm thrilled to get to know you all and begin this next cohort of the Instructor Leadership Excellence Academy. And I'm really happy to be joined by my colleague, Hannah, who's going to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name's Hannah Schlosser. I also am a technical assistance consultant with AIR. Like Amy, I got my start in adult ed as an ESL teacher. I received my master's degree in TESOL from the University of Pennsylvania, and I've taught in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and abroad. I was the lead instructor and an in-house professional development specialist for an adult ed agency in Philly for several years. And then after that, I joined the Professional Learning Opportunities Project in Pennsylvania as a consultant and then the manager. We provided professional development and consulting services for adult education agencies throughout Pennsylvania. Now, as I mentioned, I've joined AIR as a technical assistance consultant. In addition to my work as a facilitator for this Texas Leadership Academy, I also get to work on several state and national level projects like Amy, including the NASD Lead Institute, the Links Project, the Teaching Skills That Matter project, and I work with a couple other states in their professional development systems as well. This is my first cohort of the Texas group, so I'm so excited to be here with you and to work with all of you. This is a really rich and exciting training, so looking forward to getting to know you better over the course of this training.
Thanks, Hannah. So just a quick overview in our hour together today. We're going to hope to provide you with an overview of what the Instructor Leadership Excellence Academy is and what the expectations are and how you'll be working together as a cohort and what the training involves. We want to introduce you to the Texas Leadership Excellence Framework today and spend some time applying that framework to ourselves and thinking about our adult ed practice and our own leadership skills. And we also want to make sure to give you a brief demo of the online learning tools that you'll be using, the portal and also Percipio, and you'll hear more about those tools today. And then we want to just wrap up and make sure you understand what the next steps are in terms of the academy. So what is the Instructor Leadership Excellence Academy, right? What are we doing here? And the Academy was designed really to assist you, whether you're a new leader in education, whether you've been in your position for a while, or you're planning for increased leadership in adult ed. The idea behind the Academy is to strengthen and further develop your skills and knowledge so that you can more effectively lead yourself, lead teams, and lead your organization. During the Institute, we're going to identify and apply concepts in leadership development, specifically around our adult ed programs and context. We're going to identify opportunities for program improvement based on self-assessment as well as program data. So you're really going to be looking at opportunities for your own skill development as well as what's needed at your agency and what can you lead in terms of leading an improvement at your agency. And we're going to be acquiring the skills to support and lead a team through a program improvement initiative. So there will be a job embedded, a job focused capstone project that we'll be asking you to do over the course of the academy. And we're going to share a lot of information, so don't worry about what's involved, and we'll be working on that throughout the Institute together. So just a little bit about who we are as a group. We're a great group. There are 12 of us in ILEA. And you represent 10 agencies. So there is one team that has 2 participants from the same agency, which is great. You guys can work together and share resources and ideas as we go forward. And then also running simultaneously to our Instructors Academy is an Administrators Academy, or ILEA, as we say. And there are 7 agencies that have participants in both the Instructor Academy and the Administrator Academy. And that's also great synergy because some of our training will be overlapping with the administrators. So some Some time we'll be spending just as our group of 12, and other training times will be a bigger group with the Administrator Leadership Academy participants. And again, there'll be great synergy and opportunities to network, share resources, and as I like to say, kind of share our hive mind thinking so that we're developing our knowledge together. So I know you already got this information on the Academy, but I just want to remind you of the format and our dates here. We'll have 4 webinars, 4 one-hour webinars. One's a little longer and on March 16th, and we'll have a couple of small group online meetings in February that are designed to help you share your improvement project ideas with one another and get and give feedback in a small online meeting format. We'll have 3 training sessions. So the first time that we come back for an all-day training will be December 2nd. We'll be meeting that morning with the Administrator Leadership Academy group, and then we'll be in our ILEA group for the afternoon and then the morning again of December 3rd, and that will be virtual. Then we'll come back together for the same format, a morning with ILEA on February 3rd, and then an afternoon just in our instructional group, and the morning of February 4th. And we're not sure, we're hoping that we'll be able to be together in person in Austin in February. So that's still to be determined. Stay tuned. Hopefully we can meet in Austin. And then we'll come together for a final all-day training on April 22nd with the Administrator Academy. And that's really focused on you guys sharing your projects, and you become the presenters on April 22nd. So it's exciting. You have, as part of the training, you're enrolled in the PD portal. Many of you may have already been there today, before today, to get the handouts and orient yourselves. You can find the assignments there. That's where you're going to be posting your work and your project presentations and the other activities you'll be doing during the training. And we also have an assignment checklist, which Robin has just posted, as well as the handouts. Thank you, Robin. So the assignment checklist is really a great tool. I encourage you to open it and even print it out and tack it to your bulletin board. It's just a list of everything that you'll be doing, everything that's due, and the date. So it's a good way to kind of check off things as you go. And finally, as I mentioned before, you will be working on and developing a program improvement project that's based around work that you do at your agency and specific to your practice as an adult educator. And the idea behind that is that you'll be integrating knowledge and skills that you're gaining during the academy to lead this improvement project at your agency, and you'll be presenting on that at our final session in April. And we're going to tell you a lot more about that program improvement project as the training continues. This is another view of our timeline. So just for those of you who are maybe more visual and like to see it laid out in a timeline format, please make sure you've saved all these dates already in your calendar, and will be able to attend them all. The Academy is really a highly interactive and hands-on training where we learn with and from one another, and your full participation is really key to your success in the Academy. There's no way really to make up the work that we do together during the webinars and the training sessions, and so you're expected to participate in all of our events, both online and hopefully if we get to be in person, and to complete the assignments. There will be some assignments between sessions, as well as your improvement project assignments, and we're going to share more about what those expectations are over the next few sessions. We also have the portal, our online community of practice, and the portal helps us extend our learning time together. It's a place for us to share resources. So please get in the habit of going to the portal and checking the portal and sharing your good ideas and resources as we move ahead there. Are there any questions about the dates or the overview that I've just provided at this point? Okay, well, we're always here and in the portal if questions come up. I'm gonna go ahead and ask
I do have
Hannah.
a question.
Oh, yep.
Regarding the dates, will those be available in the PD portal for us to always look at, or?
Will they be available in the PD portal? I lost you there, Randall, for you to do what?
To be able to refer to.
Yes. So in that assignment checklist, Randall, that is linked in the chat and it's also posted in the portal now. The assignment checklist is there. All those dates are already on that calendar.
Okay.
So you.
I actually tried to open the link that was placed in the chat box and it says restricted area.
Okay.
You do not have permission.
Yeah, it sounds like, Randall, you may need to be able to access the portal. So we're going to talk about that a little later on, and we'll make sure that you can get in there.
Okay.
But also, Hannah, maybe you can post the assignment checklist as a PDF document now so that it's easier to open for folks who may not already be in the portal. So Randall, we'll try to post a PDF of that so you can see it right now too.
No problem. Thank you.
Yep. Good question. Thanks for asking. So I'm going to turn this over to Hannah and to help us begin to really think about what does it mean to lead in adult ed and the Texas Adult Ed Leadership Framework.
Thanks, Amy. All right, everyone. So as Amy said, this is a very interactive training. So to get us started, we are going to ask you to participate in a word cloud, and I'll tell you where to go in just a moment. But before I send you there, I want you to envision somebody who you think of as a really effective leader. And once you've got that person in mind, then I want you to think about the characteristics and skills that that person possesses. What do they do that makes them so effective? And once you have that person and their skills and characteristics in mind, then I'm going to have you go to Menti. And if you haven't used Menti before, it's very easy to access. On the screen, you can see the link for Menti as well as a code. But there will also be a link in the chat box for you. And so you will enter in the code and this question will appear and you'll be prompted to enter words and phrases to respond to this question. And then as you are responding to this question, I'm going to go ahead and show you the results as they come through. So let me pull that up while you pull up your Menti.
And Hannah, they can also do this on their phones too, right?
Absolutely. Yep. If you'd prefer to use your phone, type in menti.com and then use the code at the top of the screen 1574-3208. And we are answering, what skills and characteristics do effective leaders have? If Menti isn't working for you, go ahead and type them in the chat and Amy can also call those out for us. Okay, we can see some words starting to come in. As these words come through, we can start looking for themes as well as things that people are typing in multiple times. If you say something that somebody else said, the words will get bigger on the screen. So far we have strong communication, somebody who's organized, empowering and inspiring, yes. And along with that, somebody who influences others. Service oriented, I love that one. Strong communication comes through again. Integrity. Calm demeanor. Yes. Something we all really need in times like these, right? Intelligence. This is great. As you continue to think about these, I want to acknowledge that there's a lot of research out there on the different skills and characteristics of these really effective leaders. And a lot of the things that you've identified here are also things that the research calls out as skills and characteristics of effective leaders too. So in this particular training, we have a leadership framework that we're going to use to focus on the characteristics of effective leaders so that we can think about what they do and how they do that. And then that will help us to identify behaviors and skills that we can adopt to improve our own leadership skills. And I can see the Menti slowing down. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the PowerPoint. And I'm going to direct your attention to our LEA leadership framework, which you have in your handouts for today. So I know some of the writing on here might be kind of small on your screen, but if you pull it up on your handout, then you should be able to read it more easily. We will affectionately refer to this as the wheel throughout the training, and it captures many of the essential skills that are needed to effectively lead ourselves, lead others, and lead our organizations. We're going to take a moment to look at the structure of the wheel. So at the center of the wheel is the adult education leader. That's you. And then the middle ring has the three big categories that effective leaders focus on. So we have leading the self in yellow, leading the organization in blue, and leading the others in that pink-red color. And on the outer ring are the specific leadership skills for each of those categories. So for example, if we look at the yellow, leading self, then we know that skills of a leader who's able to lead themselves include being self-aware, being adaptable, exhibiting emotional intelligence. So I want you to take a moment and look at this wheel. And then I'm going to ask you to reflect on the wheel, and we're going to do an annotate activity. So we practiced just a moment ago using annotate. I want you to pull up those tools again. You're going to take your stamp feature. And what I want you to identify is 3 or 4 of these skills that are your personal strengths. And so you can use your stamp feature to mark on the screen, what are 3 or 4 of your strengths?
Hannah, we also posted a PDF of the wheel if people want to open it to get a better view.
Perfect. Thank you, Amy. Okay, I can see your stamps coming through. So far, several votes for embodying integrity, accountability, and professionalism, being open-minded and resilient. In the pink-red category, I see inspiring, guiding, developing, and motivating others as one of the most highly voted. And in the blue category, I see problem solving and innovates to continuously improve outcomes. Yes, your stamps are still coming through, which is awesome. I think it's really interesting to look across this wheel as a whole, because we can see that amongst this group, there's at least one person who has a strength in each of these categories. And I think that's one of the other strengths of a good leader, is that they can identify strengths in a group and help people to really use those strengths to make projects, teams function better. So look at your teammates around you. We have a lot to learn from each other, which is awesome. All right, pause on your annotate for a second. I'm going to clear the screen. And I'm going to have you reflect one more time. This time, I want you to think about 3 or 4 areas where you can improve. So same thing, go ahead and stamp on the screen. What are 3 or 4 areas where you can improve your leadership skills? Already, I'm seeing a theme that we are tending toward the blue side of the wheel. Lots of people voting for leading the organization. Several people voting for developing partnerships and thinking strategically, as well as problem solving and innovating. Yes. Also, several in the leading others category. Our lead self, we have a couple votes, but not quite as many. So maybe as a group, that's where our strengths tend to lie. This is great. It's always important to be self-reflective to identify where we can continually improve our skills so that we can be more effective leaders. So thank you for your annotation here. I'm going to go ahead and clear all the annotations again. And now we're going to think about how we can apply these skills in an adult ed organizational setting.
Thanks, Hannah. That was amazing. And I love hearing kind of as people look at the Texas adult ed leadership wheel, kind of where they see their strengths personally and then what they might want to develop further. Now that you guys have thought about the leadership wheel in terms of your own skills, we're going to do an activity to apply the leadership skills framework to 2 case studies in smaller breakout groups. So we're going to do 2 rounds of breakout groups. Each round will be 8 minutes, and after the first case study breakout group, we'll come back together to debrief and then go back into the same group to discuss the second case study. So the first thing I'd like to ask you to do when you get into your group is appoint a note taker. You're going to consider the case study as a group, and you're going to use that leadership framework wheel. And again, the PDF is posted in the chat. If you want to open it, you want to have that on hand to identify the 4 or 5 most important skills that the leader in the case study that you'll be looking at needs to have to lead this specific organizational change, and talk about why you picked those particular skills for the instance in the case study that you'll be looking at. So let's look at the first case study. I'm going to read it quickly. Case study 1 on leading program change. To improve student retention and progress, Maplewood Adult Education is moving to the strategy of a managed enrollment model. This is a big shift in how and when students will be placed in classes, how instruction is to be delivered, and how all the pre and post assessment activities will be completed. Mary, the director, is leading this initiative and recognizes this program change will impact how work gets done at every level of the organization, from recruitment and intake to advisement, data collection, and instructional delivery. So when you get into your groups, you're going to look at the leadership wheel, and you're going to identify 4 to 5 of the most important skills you think Mary has to have in order to lead this organizational change, and talk about why those 4 to 5 skills that you picked are so critical for her leading this big organizational program change. So again, take out handout 2 for note taking, and appoint a note taker when you get into your group. So I think we are ready to go into our breakout groups. Olga, are we ready?
Number of minutes again.
8 minutes, please.
Okay, we're ready. See you in 8 minutes.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I got to drop in on a few groups, and there was amazing conversation going on. I'd love to hear just from maybe 1 or 2 groups in the interest of time. Does somebody want to share one skill they picked and why for this challenge that Javier is facing? Maybe someone we haven't heard from before today?
Well, we were discussing one of the things that we think it's really, really important that Javier does is that he, under the leads others, that he values and empowers people. That's a way of earning respect, and that's something that he would need because now he's leading his fellow coworkers, and people must be valued. They have to be able to feel valued and to consider everybody else's opinions, and even sometimes ask for advice. That's valid too, and listen to feedback. That's gonna be one way of earning respect from them.
Yeah. Thank you, Heidi. Really appreciate that. In this particular instance, right, because he's made this career shift and now he's supervising people that were like his fellow teachers, right? Thinking about what are the skills that Javier might need, and I'd like to build that respect, right? And to empower the team. And now that he's had a big change too. How about one more quick skill? Maybe somebody posted in the chat. Oh, Sarah says exhibit emotional intelligence. Yep. And Nuri says self-aware and understands his strengths, right? He might be insecure being a new leader, right? Excellent. I love that, right? So some of those leading yourself skills here are going to be really important to him too. So thank you guys. Those are awesome thoughts on the leadership skills in the context of these adult ed settings. So for homework, and as we wind down, we want you to be able to take a look again at this leadership wheel and think about it using handout 3. We want you to elaborate a little bit more and reflect a little bit more on your own strengths and your opportunities for skill development as an adult ed leader using this. So that's one homework assignment we want to ask you to complete before we see you again in November. We've talked about the portal. I think all of you probably have been in there and can use it. And I think we straightened out the issue of access to the materials, but so you should all be able to get in there. But just quickly, it's our community of practice. This is a community of practice, are groups of people like us who share a concern or a passion for something that we do together, that we have a shared focus on, and we learn how to do it better by interacting regularly. And we're going to do that both in these trainings together and also in our virtual space, which is the portal. So if you haven't been there already, I think we're going to post the link to the portal there. Probably you guys already have a portal account, but if you need to, Robin, thanks. Go ahead and you're going to be signing in. Actually, I see, sorry guys, this says Administrator Leadership Excellence Academy, but you're going to be going to the Instructional Leadership Excellence Academy, the Instructor Academy. And there you'll find the slides, the handouts, our assignments, all of our resources, the checklist off of this page when you log in. But Beth says everybody has an account, so you should be able to get there pretty easily. If you need anything, you have our emails and you can always reach out to us. There's another tool we'll be using, and I'm just going to ask Deb to share for a minute on this Percipio tool.
Great, thanks, Amy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I feel like the guy on TV, Truman Show or whatever. It's nice to see everybody. We had an opportunity to purchase some licenses on this Leadership Academy software program. It's very similar to like LinkedIn Learning or lynda.com. It's called Percipio. You all should have gotten an email welcoming you to Percipio. I'm going to be sending out an email this afternoon that will give you some more information about the website, what we'd like for you to complete, and attaching the assignment checklist. And I don't have the assignment checklist with me. It's on my office on the table. But on the assignment checklist that you should have, or it was put into the chat pod, there are a couple of assignments for Percipio. They're minimal, which means you have access to a lot of training on here. So don't feel like you only have to complete those assignments. Those are the ones that we felt would be more meaningful to you as you go through the Leadership Excellence Academy. So just stay tuned. If you didn't get an email, put your name in the chat pod and I'll check it out. But I think I logged everybody in on Wednesday, and you should have gotten an email Wednesday, and I'll send everybody an email sometime this afternoon.
Thanks so much, Deb.
Yep, thanks. Welcome, everybody.
And we're going to have time, you know, in the next session to look at Precipio and make sure that you guys are situated in terms of all these online tools, because I know we're sharing a lot with you today on how the course works. So as we wrap up, our next webinar is on data-driven decision-making on November 12th. And then we will have our virtual training on December 2nd and 3rd. We're going to do a lot of work on developing our leadership styles, our SMART goals, getting focused on our improvement projects. So make sure you have those dates.
Hey, Amy.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, did anybody get the email? It seems like you guys.
I did.
Sarah says she did.
Sarah, did it come from trainpd@tcall@percipio.com?
No, it came from Percipio or Skillsoft.
It came from trainpd@tcall.
Yeah, it's trainpd@tcall@percipio. That's where mine come from.
Okay.
Okay, so just check for trainpd@tcall.
Yeah, check your spam, check your junk email.
Yeah, it might have gone to spam.
It came on Wednesday. It came on Wednesday.
Okay.
Came on Wednesday afternoon, I believe, is when I did it.
Great.
Got it.
Thank
Good.
you. Thanks, guys. And again, you know, reach out to Deb or the TCall team after today if you have questions about Precipio or portal or the portal and you haven't been able to log in. So just thinking about your program improvement project, you're going to start thinking about it after today and what you want to do, but we're going to give you a lot more information about and time to do a brainstorm and think about what makes sense for you. And we're going to work on kind of your focus through January. And then after January, you'll start really digging into it, and there'll be a series of assignments along the way. And again, we're going to be walking you through all of this, supporting you, giving feedback to each other. And it all builds to doing a final PowerPoint and a presentation on April 22nd. So that's where we're heading in terms of the improvement project work. But don't worry about that right now, because we're going to cover that as part of our trainings moving forward this fall and into the new year. There is a project planning template also in the TCall PD portal that's posted there now. And you can look at the template to get a sense of what you'll be filling out and completing. So you can look at that now and begin to think about, oh, you know, this is the work I'm going to be doing, all with support through the Academy. And then in preparing for our November 12th webinar, we're going to ask you to do a short reading. Again, it's posted in the portal and we'll be sending reminders about this, and also to view the POP webinar, which will be assigned to you and appear on your PD portal transcript. So again, we'll be sending reminders about this. So this is just giving you a little heads up on what's coming. And are there any questions? I know we're a few minutes over time and I want to honor your time, but if there are questions, you can post them in the chat.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, please.
So you mentioned that there were 3 in the Precipio that we need to do 3 of the what is it called? Like
They're like units.
Yes,
They're little courses.
Yes, the courses. Now, whenever I first signed in, it asked me all these things about what I wanted to learn, and of course, me being the overachiever, I think I have too many on here.
That's okay. That's okay. If you've got Precipio open right now, if you go to the top, it'll say library on the left next to the LEA logo. Click on library.
Yes.
And on the left-hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth option is Leadership Development Program powered by MIT.
Aha, got it.
That's what we're working through is these three.
Perfect.
They kind of match that leadership wheel. Remember that we talked
Yes,
about
ma'am.
earlier?
Yes, ma'am. I got it. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Sarah, if you're feeling ambitious and you have the time, that's, you know, the great thing about Precipio is there's a ton of resources in there that TCAL has provided.
I saw that.
Yeah, and so you can always dig into all that too, and before, during, or after the Institute. So it's a great resource to have, but those ones that Deb just pointed out are the ones that we're asking you to do as part of the Academy. So
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are at time, and I want to respect you all and thank you for spending the hour. Please give us feedback on today's session. Yes, thank you, Beth. The Precipio assignments are also listed on the assignment checklist. Thank you. Go ahead and give us some feedback on today. You can scan this, or you can go to the portal and click on your evaluate button. We'd love to hear how you thought today went. And thank you all so much. We will see you in November for our next webinar. Oh, and Robin also posted the link to the evaluation. So multiple ways to tell us how you're feeling about the Excellence Academy in today's session. And Deb, thank you. Deb said if you have Precipio issues or questions, she sent her email to you guys in the chat too. So it was a pleasure meeting all of you, and thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Amy.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end the session. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Olga.
weekend. And reach out if you have any questions. We are here to help.